So the guys on the Click and Learn team tell me that, first of all, I need practice at doing the live streaming part. And they tell me that learn.fun. And you see that I go to that URL, clickandlearn.fun. And when I go to there, it shows me what we call our playground. And on this playground, we have hundreds of games. We've got about 500 geography games, but we've also got games about anatomy, the periodic chart, world history, U.S. history, and so forth. Quite a variety of games. And you can get into any of these games, and you can play any of these thumbnails, and you can play the first 7 questions of any game in our system just to see the quality of the game and to see what's in it. We also have, because we believe geography knowledge is so important, for the rest of this year, for the rest of 2026, if you click this button, the thumbnail says free geography games. It's going to give you a list of games. We've got about 12 or 14 games that you can use to learn everything from, go back to the left, from countries of South America, continents and oceans, 50 states, countries of Central America, Africa, Europe, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and the provinces of Canada, 31 states of Mexico, and the island countries of the Caribbean and the South Pacific. But I'm going to scroll back over here to the left. And also I'm going to actually collapse this button because I'm going to show you, I'm going to bring you into the games that are free this week. These games, when I click this button, thumbnail, these games are free through the rest of 2026. You can learn the countries of Europe or Africa in about 6 evenings, an hour at a time. You can learn the countries of South America in 24 minutes. You can learn 50 states in 3 hours, 1 evening, or 3 evenings, 1 hour an evening. But I want to get into this. I'm going to click the thumbnail. It says free this week. And each week we put different games into here. Last week and part of this week, we still have a game to help you learn the World Cup countries. And we got in and played and competed against each other. Some of the guys on the Click and Learn team got in and played. But I'm going to click this thumbnail. It says, can you score 100%? I'm in test mode. And I'm going to click on multiplayer. It's going to ask me which team I want to be on. Let's go. I got a red shirt on today. Let's go to the red team. And I'm going to turn off the volume and click the go button. And what we have on the screen is the map of Texas and a button for all 254 counties. Across the bottom, we show 4 different race cars. I guess is the farm scene. So these are 4 different tractors. I'm in the red tractor. And when I score some point, red, yeah, I'm the red team. So when I score some points, it asks for Lynn County, and that would be right below Lubbock. And this might be Lynn County. If I get it correct, I get 1 point for my red team. It asks for Colorado. Let's get a few. Zapata County, Hamilton County, Comanche County, Brazos. This is Brazoria. This would be Brazos. And you can see I get a smart for every time I get one correct. And I'm moving ahead of people who might be on the other teams. And if you're a teacher, you can sign up for our system. It's only $20 a student, and that gives you full access for the full year for all 20 students. And to give you your own playground where you can select the games that you want your students to play. Let me show you a couple of things that ask for Rusk. This is Rusk, but if you don't have the finger right on that button and you click where you think it might be, you're going to get it wrong. So you have to have right on the button. It asks for Howard. Have the finger right on the button, you get a green light. It asks for Refugio, and if I click San Patricio by mistake, I get a red light. That's how you know as you're going through whether you get them right or wrong. And I tell you what, I'm going to show you something really cool. I'm going to show you how I can move that red car quite a ways quickly. I'm going to exit from this. We'll get back into it in a minute. But I'm going to go to the game for South America. And I'm going to stay in multiplayer. And there I am down here. I've got 7 smart, so I'm going to click go. And it asks for Argentina, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, Colombia, Ecuador, Falkland Islands. And I've got 7 points plus 4 points for beating the clock. And you can see my little tractor. Oh, and also at the bottom it says, Bob cleared level 1. Countries of South America. And if you're a teacher and you have your students play the game in multiplayer mode, you can watch as they master each level of whatever game they're playing. Let me get back into the Texas game. And as I now go in like that, as I mentioned, it already defaults to test mode, but I'm going to switch to learn mode, which is 7 questions at a time. I'm going to select multiplayer, and I'm still in the red car. So let's click go. Question at the top, it asks for Anderson, Andrews, Angeline, Aransas, Archer. If I click the Aransas, if I click, I'll get a green light. It asks for Archer. If I click the wrong button, I get a red light. It says you clicked the wrong button, but it tells me that's Armstrong. And I can also use the show me button. Okay, that would be Archer, Armstrong. It asks for Atascosa. There's only one button, so this must be Atascosa. And it is. I was 16 seconds over. I did not beat the clock, so I would go through that over and over until I can beat the clock. In order to beat the clock, you don't have time to look at the question each time. These are in alphabetical order, so you have to know that after I clicked Anderson, I moved to Andrews, Angeline, Aransas, Archer, Armstrong, Atascosa, and I beat the clock by, it looks like, 2 seconds. I got 2 extra points for beating the clock in 2 seconds. And then we go to 14 questions. We reinforce what we learned in the first level. Anderson, Andrews, Angeline, Aransas, Archer, Armstrong, Atascosa, Austin. And then we have 7 new questions. It asks for Bailey. If I click the wrong button, it says, sorry, this is Baylor. Okay, so that's Baylor. I click OK. I can also use the show me button. That's for Bailey. Okay, here's Bailey. Okay, that's for Bandera, Bastrop. And now we go to Baylor, Bell. We did not beat the clock, 11 seconds over, so we go through that. Anderson, Andrews, Angeline, Aransas, Archer, Armstrong, Atascosa, Austin, Bailey, Bandera, Bastrop, Baylor, Bell, Bear, Blanco, Borden, Bosque, Bowie, Brazoria, Brazos, Brewster, Briscoe, Brooks, Brown, Burleson, Burnett, and so forth. But it's not like having a map, a game where you have to learn one of the states and 50 buttons on the screen. Let me exit from this. Let me exit. If you go to the 50 states, we still start with 7 questions at a time. It asks for Alabama. most Americans know Alabama is somewhere in the South. So since there are only two buttons in this part of the country, one of these buttons is Alabama. So instead of having a 2% chance of guessing Alabama when you got 50 buttons on the screen, you got a 50% chance of getting this correct because one of these is Alabama, one of these is Arkansas. When you get it correct, you get a green light, the button disappears, you're racing the clock, and the question changes to Alaska. It changes to Arizona. If you go over 5 seconds without clicking the correct button, the Show Me button appears in the top right corner. You can use that to show you where Arizona is located, Arkansas. We all know California. It asks for Colorado. Well, what do you think? Which of these states is Colorado? Pretty easy to know that this is Colorado, and then it asks for Connecticut. There's only one button on the screen, so even a 4-year-old student can find Connecticut on the map and clicks the correct button. We did not beat the clock, obviously. We'd play over and over until we beat the clock. That's for Alabama. Okay. It asks for Alaska. Okay. It asks for Arizona. Okay. I remember this is Arizona. It asks for Arkansas. It asks for California. It asks for Colorado. And it asks for Connecticut. But notice we did not beat the clock. In order to beat the clock, you can't sit there and look at the question each time. You have to know. Let me see if I got this right. Okay. You have to know that after I click Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, you don't have time to look at the question. You have to know this is going to be in alphabetical order. So you play over and over and over. It asks for Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. I'm not even looking at the questions. California, Colorado, Connecticut, because I know what the next questions are. Now we go to 14 questions. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, and 21 questions and so forth. That's how the system works, 7 at a time. Well, here's another thing. When I'm working on something like 50 states or 50 countries of Africa, when I get up to let's say level 5, and I want to show you one more thing. I got so many things to show you. When you get up to level 5, which is 35 states, you already know the first 7, first 14, first 21. But you're working on learning these last 7. We have this feature called Circle Back 7, and that simply shows you the last 7 buttons. So if you learned Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut, and you want to practice learning Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, and Indiana, you can use the Circle Back 7 feature to go through that over and over until you feel more comfortable about going on. So Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, and perhaps now I feel more comfortable. And now I can go to the next level. Oh, notice at the bottom, it said Bob cleared level 2 of the 50 states. Whenever you beat the clock on any level, it shows you, it shows your classmates, it shows your teacher, it shows you that you've mastered that level, but it also shows you how your classmates and your students and your, let's say the members of your geography club, And I think every school should have a geography club. Every school should have a geography club. Let me say that again. Wait, I already said it again. Because most states are watering down their geography standards and are not even requiring that students learn continents and oceans, or 50 states. Most American states are watering down. And I talked to a couple of friends in California, and one of the guys, he was in 8th grade last year, and he said that it's an elective in their school district. You can take geography or not. You can take something different. But with our system, you can have a geography club, as many kids as you want to have in the club. It's only $20 a student, and it gives you access for the entire year. I guess that would be 2 semesters in a summer, or until you convene the club next year. So anyway, think about that. If you want to think about having a geography club at your school, this is a perfect way to, let's say, get around the fact that geography is not considered to be important in most states. I think it's important. But anyway, I talk way too much here. I just am so excited about geography. So let's go to 21 questions. Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. I'm not looking at the questions. California, Colorado, Connecticut. Well, when I'm saying I'm not looking at the questions, I'm not looking at the questions at the top. I know that it's going to be Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, and, well, I'm surprised I beat the clock because I was talking so much, but I beat the clock by 5 seconds, and there the message across the bottom shows that whoever in your group beats the clock, it shows their name, whether it's Mark or Matt or Dell or Mike or Mary or Donna or Linda or Glenda, whatever, it shows you what the members of your group on your playground, how they're doing in the game. Oh, am I in? Yeah, okay. So I'm going to click go. Where did these little race cars go? Where did the race cars go? Let me back out. Maybe I did not get into multiplayer. I'm going to back out. I'm going to get into that just for a minute. And I'm going to click, let's say, review mode. And I'm going to go to multiplayer. And I'm going to back into the red team. Okay, I click go. And in this game in review mode, Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas. Watch how this little red car, Arkansas, California, Colorado, Connecticut. Every time I get it right, he gets another smart. Delaware, Florida, Georgia, Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, Iowa, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, Maryland, Massachusetts, Michigan, Minnesota, Mississippi, Missouri, Montana, Nebraska, Nevada, New Hampshire, New Jersey, New Mexico, New York, North Carolina, North Dakota, Ohio, Oklahoma, Oregon, Pennsylvania, Oregon, here we go, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah over here, Vermont, Virginia, Washington, West Virginia, Wisconsin, Wyoming. So I get to 50 points for getting all those correct, but I also get, looks like, an extra, well, it should say 60. I think I beat the clock by 16 seconds. So I've got 110 smarts just by playing that one game. You get a point for every time you click a correct button, and you also get a smart at the end of the game. I get 14 extra smarts for mastering the 14 countries of South America. I just wanted to get in there for a second to show you how to have the race cars going and how to watch your product. Here's another thing. You're going to hear those words from me a lot. Oh, and here's another thing. We got so many features in this system. Our programmer is a genius. When technology changes, we started out offering this software on, where am I at? We started out offering this software on diskettes. And you had a little diskette, you installed it in the A drive or the B drive of your computer, and you had to install it on each computer. But as technology changed, as you can see, it's all online now. And anybody with a Chromebook, a laptop, a computer, a tablet, an iPad, anybody with those devices and Wi-Fi's access could get in and play these games. That's what, seriously, Mike, see, I got off track again. I was going to show you something. What I'm going to show you is that while you're playing the game, and let's say I say, well, let's replay. I click the replay button and I click go. It shows that what tractor, bicycle I'm on now. It shows as I get a point or a smart, when it asks for Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas, it shows I gained another smart for each of those. If we had other players on the team, if we had other players and they're racing us on their bicycles, well, they would be moving up, getting ahead, getting behind. We kind of compete with each other. And every 15 minutes on the hour, and on the 15 minutes, the race starts again. Everybody's on their bicycles or their tractors, and they start again so that no student or no expert gets 500 smarts ahead of everybody else. They got to start over at zero every 15 minutes. And right now we have 4 minutes and 18 seconds before that next session, the next race starts. And if you've ever been to the Kentucky Derby, you know that there's more than just one race. They have lots of races during the day, and it's the same with this. Every 15 minutes, we start a new race. What I wanted to show you, So here's another thing. Down here at the bottom, while you're playing, or even while you're a teacher watching your students play, or whether you're a sponsor of the geography club, watching the club members play, you can click this little button down here it looks like one of those cartoon things where the voice is up there, whatever they're called. I'm going to click that. And this gives me a long list of comments I can give to my classmates, my students, my friends that are playing along with me. I can say, good afternoon. And I can say, and then I click hello, everyone. And then I can click, I can click hello from Arizona. Hi from Arizona. And I can say, oh yeah, here we go. Go Red. Okay. When I click that, the message comes across. Bob says, Good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Hi from Arizona. Go Red. Seriously, our programmer is a genius. He has made this fun to learn. And because of the importance of the concept of it being fun to learn, the website is clickandlearn.fun. And let me back out. This is called your playground. Once you purchase for your classroom or your school or your club or for your family, you can control the playground that your students or that everyone sees. You can collapse a channel. Let's collapse this channel. Or you can bring up, let's say if you're from, I don't know, pick a state, Vermont, you can go to the game library. You can select a thumbnail that says, pick your state, and then you can bring up the list of games from, where's Vermont? Well, I know Vermont, Virginia, Vermont. You click that, and that brings up the set of games for Vermont. And you can still then collapse so that when your students get in or your friends get in, they see right at the top. Here are the games to help me learn about Vermont. Let's see how many counties are in Vermont. I'm going to click this. I'm going to switch to test mode because I know that when I get into test mode, it tells me how many questions. And I'm going to click multiplayer, and it's 14. It tells me there are 14 questions. That means there's 14 counties of Vermont, which means you can probably learn all the names and locations of the counties of Vermont in less than half an hour with this system. But I want to get into what we really want to talk about today, and that's Texas. We spent 2 months in Puerto Rico, and let me go to here. We spent 2 months in Puerto Rico, and we spent 2 months building games for Puerto Rico and then learning the 78 municipalities. And then we spent a week in Puerto Rico. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful island. And the people there are so nice. Whether you go to cafes, whether you go to restaurants, whether you go to the beach. We went to Loquillo Beach. It's listed as one of the most family-friendly beaches. And actually from research that I've done, supposedly there are over 200 beaches on Puerto Rico. Okay, so my point is, you go to clickandlearn.fun, you get a playground, and each of these things on the playground is a game. Let me show you one of my favorite games. I'm going to scroll up to 50 states, and I'm going to go to this game. Actually, in a minute, I'm going to go to this game, but I'm going to click this purple thumbnail. I'm going to go to multiplayer. I'm going to click go. Okay, notice that the 15-minute mark passed. So we all go down to 0 smarts. Everybody starts together again. And I think I'm still on the red team. Okay, let's click go. At the top, it asks for Washington. And if you're familiar with, if you're a teacher, you know the term scaffolding. Scaffolding are temporary devices to help your students learn. For example, like when we talk about what are the Great Lakes, one of the scaffolding items is the mnemonic, HOMES, homes. Huron, Ontario, Michigan, Erie, Superior. But also with Click and Learn, the colors that we have on the game on each state. Those are scaffolding devices to help the students, and the shapes of the states are also help the students. But most, oh yeah, here we are. What are we in now? We're in race cars now. It looks like we're in race cars. We're on the countryside. We're going past a school. We're going past. We're going through a city here in a minute. We'll go through a little town. Okay, but tell you what, I need a script because I go so off tangent all the time. So we take all the colors off, we take all the boundaries of the shapes off, and then we ask you, in this case, where's Washington? Where's Utah? Well, this would be the 4-state area. This would be New Mexico. This would be Arizona. This would be Utah. If I get it correct, I get a green light. That's for Kentucky. Kentucky is right above Tennessee. This is Kentucky. I get a green light. That's for West Virginia. We know that this is South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, and let's see if this is West Virginia. We get a green light. Oregon. Okay. This is one of my favorite games, Maine. But I'm going to tell you my favorite game in the entire system. I'm going to exit up here in the top left corner, exit. I'm going to go into this game, the green thumbnail. I'm in test mode. I'm going to stay in single player. And there I am at the bottom in the red car with 6 smarts so far. Now look at this. Look at this. It asks you to find California. And some are easy. Kentucky. This is Tennessee, Kentucky. You can tell by the placements of the buttons. This is Kentucky. Idaho. This is Washington, Oregon, Idaho. And that's for Colorado. Right above New Mexico, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado. And in test mode, we're not racing the clock. So you have time to think. That's for Florida, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Massachusetts. So this is Connecticut. New York. This would be, I think this is Pennsylvania. I think this is New York. Okay. Illinois. Okay. So this would be Louisiana, Arkansas, Illinois. What's above Arkansas? Missouri. Okay. This is Illinois. You have a mental map of the 50 states, Texas, Louisiana, and so forth. That is how beautiful this system is. And I tell you what, if you play a game like this and score 100%, to me, that's like a rush of excitement. And the more you know, the more you feel more confident in yourself, and the more you can relate to other people. People who are from the United States, people are from, there's a lot of people from Canada come down to own, purchase homes in this retirement community I live in, and they are definitely snowbirds. They are in Arizona when it's cold up north, and they're in Canada when it is hot in Arizona. And so when they join the club and you say, where are you from? They say Canada. I don't just say, oh, that's pretty cool. I say, which province are you from? Let's get more specific. And if they say they're from Alberta or British Columbia, Prince Edward Island, Nova Scotia, we can have a conversation. I say, oh yeah, I know where and where Ontario is located, and it makes them feel more welcome. At my house here in Arizona, I am on something called the southern tier of the bicycle route. People bicycling across the United States take a path. There are about 4 or 5 paths. The northern tier, the southern tier, the Great America Rail Trail is being built. My point, okay, but anyway, so when they're traveling through Arizona and they go to this website called Warm, I'm going to give a shout out to a website called warmshowers.com. And for bicyclists bicycling across the country, they can ask if they can stay at your house. And I always welcome anybody that's bicycling across the United States. I just want to hear about their stories and to hear about their life. And it turns out so far I have hosted over 64 bicyclists over the past many years. And where am I at? I'm going to bring this to the scroll down. Okay, I'm going to go free this week. I'm going to get into the game I'm working on today. I'm going to get into this game about can you score 100%? I'm going to switch to, I'm in test mode already. I'm going to get into multiplayer mode. And so when people bicycle across the country, they stay at my house. I take them out to dinner. I give them, I know what they need. They need laundry because they've been bicycling and sweating. They need laundry. They need calories. I take them out to dinner. They need 4 things they need. Shower, warm shower. Warmshowers.com is the name of the website. They need a hot shower. And they also need plenty of sleep. So when they get here, I know that they are either exhausted or hungry. I know that they either need a shower quickly or they need to do the laundry. They can do all 4 of those things. But my point is, many of the people bicycling across the United States are from foreign countries. I have actually had a bicyclist from Prince Edward Island. I've had a bicyclist from Nova Scotia. I've had a bicyclist from the Czech Republic and from Denmark and the Netherlands. And when the guy from the Netherlands, I said, so where are you from? He says he's from Holland. Well, Holland is part of the Netherlands. And I asked him, we had a conversation. So he said he's from Holland. I said, what about those dikes? I hear about this little Dutch boy that put his finger in the dike and kept the ocean from coming in and flooding Holland. And he told me, well, the dikes are not just this thick. You can drive a car across the dikes. They are like, I don't know. I didn't ask him how wide, but they're at least wide enough you can drive it. So that little thing about the little Dutch boy, that's kind of a fairy tale or a myth. But the point is we'd have a conversation. And when the guy from Czech Republic, he had bicycled all over Europe. I said, where'd you bicycle? He told me the countries. One of the things he did is he spent the summers in Sweden planting saplings to help the forestry department in Sweden. And each week, a little helicopter would drop a, what do you call it? One of those things with a bunch of things in it. They're made of wood and he would drop this, helicopter would drop this bunch of saplings next to where he was camping, and he would then spend that week planting these saplings all over Sweden. Very interesting. story. He also bicycled across Sri Lanka, and he told me that in Sri Lanka, the elephants seem to hate bicyclists. I should be playing this as I'm talking. I'm supposed to see if I can identify all 254 counties. I'm going to click the go button. It asked me to find Wilson. So I'm going to click that one, and then I'm going to talk. And then he said the elephants hated bicyclists. They stomped on his bicycle and stomped on his backpack. I thought that was really interesting. So later in the bicycling season, which is not in the hot part of summer for Arizona, I had a couple of other bicyclists that coincidentally, they had also bicycled through Sri Lanka. So I asked them about the elephants, and they all laughed because they know what I'm talking about. They know that I'm talking about the elephants and how they hate bicyclists. Crazy story. Okay, that's for Duval. Let me see if this is Duval. Donnelly, Duval. I know that this is McMullen. This might be, it's Duval. It asks for Ochiltree. Ochiltree is at the top. So my point is, when these people come through on their bicycles, Ochiltree, Archer, I can ask them where you're from. And since I know the countries of the world because I love geography, and I think you should too. Well, no, I don't think you should too. I think that if you care about geography, this system will help you. It asks for Archer. It asks for Collingsworth. This would be Collin. I lived in Collin County. I lived in Texas for a few years. I lived in Plano, Texas, which is in Collin County. This is Collin. This is Dallas. This is Tarrant County. This would be, it asks for Collingsworth. This would be Collinsworth. Okay, Presidio. Some of these are easy. Presidio. Bosque. Some of these have a shape and a color. We talked about scaffolding. Some of these, okay, the 15 minutes of that last race ended. And now we switch to, I'm going to stay in the red team. But now we are not in race cars. We are not on bicycles. We are not in tractors. We are like Jonah in the whale. Okay. So I'm in the red whale, and there might be up to 5 other classmates or friends or students in that same whale racing the clock. Let's see what I can do. I mentioned scaffolding. Bosque is, in this case, green. It has a particular shape. Brewster. It asks for Maynard. This is Medina. This would be Maynard County. And when I get it correct, it asks for Moore. When I get it correct, I get a green light. Sometimes I misclick. It asks for Greg. Sometimes I misread the question. That's for Gillespie. The other thing, if I do not have the finger pointed right on the button, if it's off to the side, I'm going to get that wrong. So when you're playing, you have to have the finger on the button when you click. That's for Gillespie. That's for Dimmitt County. Well, here's the other thing. If you're from Texas and you're watching as we go along through this, whether it's a live stream, whether it's later on a YouTube video, you can comment and say, oh, he just mentioned, for example, San Patricio County, where you live, perhaps. And also, as I'm playing, and you look at the question at the top, if you know where Young County is, you can watch with anticipation to see if I get it correct. It asks for Young. I know that this is Yoakum, and this is Young. I get a green light. Sometimes I think I know it and I click the wrong button. Sometimes I misread the question and I click the wrong button. It asks for Rusk. And sometimes I just click the wrong button because I get it wrong. When I get it wrong, I get a red light. The other beauty of the having the internet and having this online is when I recited this, I recited the counties in 254 seconds with a stopwatch, if you can see that, wherever that's at. And someone told me that I pronounced the Behar County wrong. He said it's not Behar, it is Bexar County. So we learn from each other. I did not know how to pronounce Irion and Erath. So I called the county seat and asked someone, the secretary, whoever, receptionist, I told him I've learned the counties of Texas. How do I pronounce your county? And he said Irion, or Erath when I called the different lady. So it asked for Behar, Bear. So we learn from each other. Bear, Dallam. I think this is Dallam, Burleson. This would be Burleson. This would be Burnett. We do these alphabetically so that the pattern helps me learn. It asks for Van Zandt. I know this is Valverde. I think this is Van Zandt. I know that this is Smith. This is Wood. This is Hopkins. So I think this is Van Zandt. I got it correct. St. Augustine. This is Sabine, St. Augustine. We learn where each of these counties are relative to each other. It asks for Austin, Austin County, right next to Waller County, right below Grimes County, this is Grimes, but right below Washington, above Colorado, so it asks for Austin. You develop a mental map, Navarro. This would be Nacogdoches, this should be Navarro. And sometimes in this game, I'm going to say, oh, this is Cottle, and I click it, and it's going to be a red button because I got it wrong. Rockwall County. Let's see if I can do it. Hutchinson is right below. Right here is Hutchinson. Ward County, right below Winkler. Roberts County. My birth name is Robert, so I should get this correct. Valverde, I talked about Verde a second ago. Upton, right above Crockett, Upton. Gaines, Galveston, Garza, Gillespie, and so forth. That's for Gaines. Get a green light. It asks for Orange. If you're from Texas, and if you're from the part of the country where Orange is located, you can anticipate where I should click. And you can see if I'm going to click it correctly. And you can hold your breath because, does he know where Willacy is? Well, actually, put on my glasses here. Actually, he does. Willacy. Refugio, Hardin County. Hidalgo. I was at a conference in Frisco, Texas, last Halloween. And at this conference, we showed them, I talked about the importance of learning I told them the value of learning the counties, because when so much of history is in the names of the counties. We have a county called Bowie County, named after Jim Bowie, perhaps. We have a county named after perhaps Davy Crockett. Stevens County named after the vice president, I think, of the Confederacy in the Civil War. So learning the counties helps bring history to life and helps us respect and honor those people who the counties were named after. So I'm at this conference, and I asked the different teachers it was a social studies conference, and I asked the teachers what county they were from, and I had mispronounced it Hidalgo. But when she said she's from Hidalgo County, I said, that's right down there, right next to Cameron County. And she was surprised because she knows I'm not currently from Texas. And I asked somebody else in the group where they were from, what county. And I showed them that I knew the counties, and that kind of surprised them. But at the end of the presentation, I also scrolled up a list of the counties alphabetically on the screen. One of the Click and Learn team members was with me, and he was actually controlling the scrolling that they see on the large screen, big screen in front of the classroom. And I was not looking at that. I had a mental map, and I was going through Anderson, Andrews, Angelina, Aransas, Archer, Armstrong, Atascosa, Austin, Bailey, Bandera. I went through all 254. And to me, that's a rush to be able to do that. My point is, there's a lot of benefits of knowing the counties. If I am running to be the governor of Texas, and I'm going to go to all 254 counties, or if I'm going to go to a conference, or if I'm going to go to a meeting, and there are maybe 200 people there, and I ask them, what county are you from? And they say, I'm from Clay County, or I'm from Jackson County, or I'm from Victoria County. If I'm running for governor, I'm going to show those voters that I care enough to learn the names and locations of all 254 counties. If I'm applying for a job to be the TV weatherman, which has to talk about hurricanes and tornadoes, if I'm applying for a job and I can show the station manager that I can name and locate all 254 counties, there's a better chance he's going to say, this guy would be a great weatherman when he's telling people about what counties a tornado is coming through. I have a friend who was on the highway patrol in one of the states. And I'm thinking, if I'm going to apply for a job as highway patrolman for Texas, there's a better chance I can get the job if I know where all the counties are. And in some states, you can tell by the license plate what county they're from. For example, Ada County, Utah, A1 on the license plate is Ada County. That's where I think Boise, Idaho is located. So there are a lot of benefits of knowing the states. It's might not be required, but okay, it asks for Hidalgo. I get a green light. I was talking too much. I always talk too much. That's for Mason. McLennan, I think McLennan is this one. Hockley. This is Castro. This is Hockley, the yellow one. Hudspeth should be out here. It is Edwards. Kent, I think is this. It is Jeff Davis. Jeff Davis County was named after, I think, the president of the Confederacy, who might have been Jefferson Davis. And if you're a teacher on social studies in Texas, and you're talking about Texas history, if your students know the counties, they absorb more of what you're trying to teach them. Jeff Davis. Montgomery is right above Harris. Atascosa. Fayette, scaffolding helps me. I know Fayette is purple. Tom Green, we should have made that green, but Tom Green is purple. But the thing about Tom Green, it has a really interesting shape. When I first looked at this map, I thought, well, they have made a mistake. What is wrong with this part over here? Well, it turns out that Tom Green County slides right under Sterling and right above Irion. So Tom Green is kind of a unique shape. So it asks for Tom Green. Let's see if I get it correct. I got it correct with the green light. Williamson, get it correct. Loving is one of the least populated counties in the United States. I think it is the least populated county in Texas. It asks for Loving. Oh, here's the other thing. I've answered 50 questions so far. As a teacher, you probably teach 1,000 things to your students every semester. But on the exams, on the tests, you don't give them 1,000 questions. You pick 20, 25 questions at random to see if they really absorbed what you taught them. Knowing that that's how teachers work with their students, our programmer added a new feature. Once your student or you has answered over 20 questions or more, this button appears. I'm going to click this in a minute and I'm going to show you. And it's going to show your score. It'll show you which ones you got right or wrong of those 50 or of those 20. And so let's say I'm in study hall, or let's say I'm on vacation in Santa Cruz County, California, watching surfers and watching lifeguards. And let's say I'm in the motel. I know we're going to be leaving in 10 minutes, but I want to get in and play this game about California. They play the game about California. And when you get to where you've answered 20 questions, you don't have to do all 58. And you run out of time and you're in test mode, you can simply click this button and watch what happens. I click this button, it tells me I've got 100%. It shows me the ones I got correct. If any of those had been wrong, I would have, okay, let's jump back in the red team. If any of those had been wrong, I would have got a little red dot or a black dot showing which ones I got wrong. But also, if you get it correct, when I should have shown you, a little message went across the bottom there when I got that 100%. I think it went across. I didn't watch. But when you get 100%, you can print a certificate. And when I click this little button, it would download a certificate to my hard drive, to my computer. And on that certificate would be my user ID name, my name that I have entered for my teacher to be able to know which of the, whether I'm Bob Reynolds, Bob Mildenstein, Bob Schmidt, Bob Struckhoff, would know which of the students I am. So that certificate prints, shows who I am. It shows that on this date, it looks like it's August 3rd, 2026, Bob scored 100% playing the game for the, and got 50 of 254 correct. I didn't get any wrong, but I only answered 50 and I got them all correct. So that certificate gets downloaded. You can print it and sign it. You can put it in something called your virtual portfolio, which with more and more, when you go for a job, so much stuff is technology. They want to know what you know. They want to know how comfortable you are with different types of software. Can you live stream? Can you make videos? And most kids over 10 years old now can do those things. Okay, so I'm going to exit. I could exit here, or if I ran out of time because the bell rang, I simply click up here and exit. Let's get into what do we want to get to? If there were someone had a comment, if someone had a comment while we're live streaming, I could read the comment. We had a comment from someone the other day, and he was visiting in Maine on business. And since he was in Maine, my one of the other guys on the Click and Learn team and I were both in here showing how the system works. And when we realized we had someone visiting who was in Maine, we brought up the game. We made that game free so this guy could play the game for free. And if you go to clickandlearn.fun and you, let's say this doesn't show up. Let's say Vermont doesn't show up. You click the thumbnail that says free this week. And because we made that game free for that visitor, you can click this thumbnail and let's go to test mode. That's what I like. I like test mode. I click multiplayer and it shows me in the red car as I came into the game. And I click go. And that's for Washington County. While we were showing this visitor how to play the game for Washington County, the other Click and Learn team member got in, and he'd never played the game, so he got in and starts playing the game to help him learn the counties of Washington. So this visitor from Maine and I watched as Matt, he's our video editor, watched as he went through trying to learn the first 7 and then first 14 and then all 16 counties. So when it was my turn, I had a head start because I had watched Matt as he played. And as I saw the question at the top and I saw where he clicked, I knew that this is Washington. Question changed to Piscataquis. And pronunciation is something that my friend is from New Jersey, and he probably knows how to pronounce those better than I. That's for Kennebec. This is Kennebec. That's for Waldo. Where's Waldo? This is where Waldo is. Cumberland. I've got them correct so far. Oxford. Aroostook. Aroostook at the top. Androscoggin near the bottom, the red one. Franklin. So far I've answered 9. That's for Hancock. That's for York at the very bottom. That's for Lincoln. Lincoln County is the green one here. Penobscot. I've answered 13. Knox. I've answered 14. Somerset. I've answered 15, and now it's asked for Sagadahoc. I'm pretty sure I'm not pronouncing that correct just because I don't know. Not that I don't want to know. So I click that button and I get it correct. And it shows me I've got them all correct. And I've got 100%. So, and then I got 16 smarts, and my little red card jumps up there to show that I'm ahead of the other guys on the teams. So much to show you, but so little time. Let's, if I knew how to change my screens, I'd be able to show you how. Okay, let's see if I can do this. How do I do this? I go to StreamYard and I'm going to remove that from, let's go up here. I'm going to do this all in the background. I'm going to remove that from the screen. I'm going to say, present, I'm going to share my screen. and I want to share. What do I want to share? How can I share that certificate? Does anybody see that? No. How do I share that? Share the certificate. Here we go. And I want to share that so you can see that. And this shows I'm playing a game in Click and Learn software. And this is my avatar. Every student or every person creates their own avatar with their own face and their own eyes and their own beard or smile or hat or whatever. This is the avatar that I've created for, it's kind of like my password. And it says that Bob has correctly answered 6 of 16 questions learning counties of Maine. Okay. So that got downloaded, and that's something you can. Did I even show that? Did you even see that? Come on, Reynolds. First of all, I have to add it to the stage. And now I'm going to show you if this works. I'm going to show you in StreamYard. I'm going to show you that. Okay, does it still show up? Yeah. I'm going to show you. This is my avatar that I've created. This is my name that I put in. So my teacher knows who I am. It shows I've answered 16 of 16 questions learning counties of Maine on Monday, August 3rd. So I'm going to go back to StreamYard. I'm going to take that off of the stage. I'm going to bring, okay, I'm going to stop that from the screen. I'm going to go back and share the Click and Learn game that we were in, and now you should be able to see that. Come on. Oh, I got to add it to the stage. You can see we're back where we were. And where we were is I'm on the red tractor. And let's go through that again. Let's just play that again. I'm going to hit the replay button. Click go. Penobscot, York, Waldo, Sagatawatch, Cumberland, Knox. It asks for Somerset. I click Somerset. It asks for Washington. Am I going to get Hancock correct? If you're from Maine, you know where I should click, and you can watch to see if I do click. That's for Lincoln County, and Androscoggin, the red one, Oxford on the west of the state, Kennebec, Aroostook, right up next to Canada. And I'm not sure if it's next to Canada or Ontario or Quebec or what is up there. I need to get a better look at that. As for Franklin, Piscatawis. Okay, and I got 100%. For me, that is pretty exciting. I wonder what happens if well, I'll tell you what, we need more people to be on the live stream for me to show you what happens when I go into multiplayer mode. And instead of picking a team, I pick the button that says just watching. As a teacher, you can pick just watching, and you can encourage your students. You can see their progress and encourage them by sending them messages. So, for example, let's see where I'm at here. I'm going to go to Maine again. I'm going to switch to, let's go to review mode, multiplayer, and I'm still in the red tractor. There's 3 minutes more of this 15-minute segment. I click go. So I'm playing, and as I'm playing along, Androscoggin, Aroostook, Cumberland, Franklin. As I'm playing along, I see my other friend's message at the bottom that they just completed. Let's see, see a message that Donna just created some level. I can send her a message. I can say, let's see what the choices are. I can click on and say, congratulations. And I can give her I don't even know what these are. I know that this stands for if you know, you know. I don't know if you can even see this on the, yeah, you can. So I could say fear of missing out. So I could say gotta go. I could say you're the GOAT, which means greatest of all time, greatest of all time. Or I could say I love geography. So I could say congratulations, I love geography. And let's go up and pick a little smiley face. I like the guy with the sunglasses. So then I click this and watch what happens at the bottom. Donna and all of the other people in the game says, Bob sent a message, says, congratulations, I love geography. As a little guy with the sunglasses. You can send messages to each other. Let's send another message. I'm going to pick one right near the top. Says, go red. Here we go, go red. Then I can kind of a way of showing my other teammates on the, did I send that? Okay, let's click that. And click go red. I forgot to send it. So you click go red, and then you click the send button. And there the message comes across, and it says go red from Bob. And Bob has 428,723,000 smarts, because Bob has been playing this for how many years online? Building. So anyway, we got 27 seconds in this. It's almost 1:45 in my time zone. And it looks like I've been live streaming for an hour and almost 15 minutes. I have a dentist appointment in actually less than an hour. So I've been trying to quit thinking about my dentist appointment by playing this game, by visiting with you, interacting with you, and having fun. Okay, now that we're through with that part, I can exit from there. Actually, I got to quit because I'm not going to pick a team, and then I can exit. And then I can go to here and I can bring me up again. And I can say, I'll be back if I can talk. I'll be back at 4 Pacific time. It'll be 7 Eastern time. And if my mouth works after this dentist appointment, we'll do this again. The reason I want to do it twice a day is because people are on different time zones, and people in one time zone might be working. But at 7 o'clock at night in, let's say, New Jersey, 7:65, 4 o'clock in California, perhaps more people can watch. And I really should do something even later for the California, for the Western, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, California, Nevada, Hawaii, Alaska time zones. But I want to interact with you. And the reason I brought you back to this screen as opposed to this screen is because this is where I say, thanks for watching. I appreciate you being here. And I know that if you are watching this live stream, or if you're watching this YouTube video, or any place that it might be showing, if you're watching this, you probably have an interest in and a respect for geography. And if that's you, if you are a geography teacher, a geography student, head of a geography club, you and your students and your friends and your classmates can learn the 50 states in 3 hours. And then you get in here and compete with each other. One of the guys on the Click and Learn team, he and I get in to see who can go through the 50 states in random order the quickest. We challenge each other. He's like 50, is it 50? He's like almost 50 years younger than I. And of course, he's going to have better, faster reflexes. And even though I've done this over and over, I don't beat him all the time. I do not beat him all the time because he is fast, young, and if I can do it at my age, you and your students and your teachers can do it faster and better. So we'll close out this live stream. And what do I do next? Okay. And okay. Thanks for watching. That's enough. Okay.